Hey guys, what's up? This is Marcel from Dapper and welcome to my video today. I'm currently in Los Angeles and it's actually raining outside, so I'm sitting inside and I have the lights on and I'm making a video that you guys asked about so many times, and so many people emailed you, so many of you emailed me or wrote me a DM or asked in comments. I've got a lot of tips and I don't know about tricks, but just like a few pointers for you if you want to start a fashion blog, if you just started a fashion blog, and even if you already have a fashion blog and just kind of, if it's not taking you where you want to go, this video might be good for you. So I have 10 questions that I want to go through with you guys, and let's just tackle them one by one. And if you have any questions that remain, you can leave them right down there. How do you start blogging? I'll tell you how I got started and then I'll make a few general conclusions about that. So I studied fashion marketing at FIT, so I kind of knew what I was talking about. It gave me a lot of confidence to talk about fashion because I felt like, I don't know, I was entitled to, because I learned about the industry and I learned about menswear and construction and fabrics. So that was one thing. So if you have a certain amount of knowledge, it's definitely going to give you confidence to start. Secondly, I had done some modeling unsuccessfully. It's not a good model. But I knew kind of like how to pose. I knew like my angles for my face that worked for the camera, which was a good thing. Thirdly, I also was really interested in photography itself, because as a blogger, you're not just in front of the camera, you're also behind it, and it's also about curating. Four, you have to just be absolutely passionate about what you want to blog about. This video is about fashion blogging, so if you're not entirely into fashion, then it's probably not for you. For me, fashion is something very, very like important. It's not just clothes. It's not a brand tag or a price tag or anything. I was a very insecure like teenager, and when I dressed up, people started treating me differently, and I started feeling better. And fashion to me just gives me a lot of confidence. So that's why I'm so passionate about it, and that's why I want to spread the news of like, you know, go out there and dress better. It's gonna have a huge impact. If you're that type of person, it's gonna have a huge impact on your life and how you feel. But now to answer the question a little bit more practically, obviously you just have to start. You have to create your accounts. You have to kind of know what your style is, find a way to have a photographer, or how are you going to take your photos. A lot of people do it with tripods and they do it themselves. Learn about photography and just, you know, get your content out there and get started. It's as easy as that. I know it can be frightening, but starting is the first step into the right direction. Once you have started your blog, how often should you post? And now I want to make a little bit of a differentiation between a website, blog, and social media. When I first started out, for the two first years, I posted a blog post every single day. So that was 6 to 12 professional images with like 1 or 2 paragraphs of text with links to the thing every single day. So that was a lot, but it was also a different time. Today it's a little bit more competitive. There's more bloggers out there and it's a little bit harder to stand out. Social media is a little bit, Instagram is a lot bigger and it's just harder to make a difference. So I post currently about 3 to 5 images a day on Instagram and maybe 1 to 2 blog posts, which obviously works for me. There's other people that are huge, but they post a photo a week or a photo every other week, and it works for them. And other people that legitimately post 7 to 10 times a day and they grow ridiculously. So it varies, but I think like 2 to 3 photos a day would be a good way to start, at least on Instagram. Like a blog post or 2 a week, that's something I would recommend shooting for. That's not going to overwhelm you and yeah, just get you off into the right direction. What platforms are important? I kind of just touched upon that. Obviously Instagram, in my opinion, Instagram is the most important in terms of photo content. YouTube with video, but that's kind of obvious. And obviously blogs are still important too, but people are a lot more on social media than they are still like on the web and surfing and like going to web addresses for blogs. I feel like people go to Instagram primarily. When I first started out, I was on lookbook.nu, which is basically a Facebook for fashion. It's now not as big anymore, but I suggest you go on there because there's still a lot of like new bloggers that are starting out and it's a very fashion community, so I think it'll be a good environment just to check out whether or not you like the whole vibe of it. And just honestly, as many channels as you want to or feel comfortable with, try and get your content up in as many different places as possible. It just increases your chances of getting discovered by different people and growing faster. Number 4, this is a question I get asked quite a lot. What camera should I use? It's honestly primarily about the lens you use, I think. So for my vlog, I shoot primarily with DSLR cameras. So I shoot with Nikon, while most other people probably shoot with Canon. I had a Nikon D3100 first, then a D600, D800, then a D3X. I went through a whole array of cameras basically, but in the end the most important thing, if you're, okay, and you can enter this in Google, if you have a crop frame camera, the best lens to use is a 50mm 1.4 or 1.8, and if you have a full frame camera, then if you have a full frame you probably know a little bit about cameras, you want to go with the 85 1.4 or 85 1.8. So I'm shooting currently on a Nikon D750, which is a full frame camera, and the 85 1.8. But with that said, so many of my photos on Instagram are taken on iPhone, and iPhone photography is a huge thing, and the camera is amazing. And honestly, if you're gonna just look at the photo on a small screen anyway, it doesn't necessarily make a difference. I prefer the aesthetic of an iPhone shot often. If you want to like just tell the story of the entire context rather than just the outfit, I think iPhone photos are often a better way to go, especially when you're traveling, and I don't know, they're just a little bit more informative of what's going on and like telling the entire story of that moment. Once you've taken a photo, how do you edit it? I am actually going to do an entirely different video just showing you how I edit, like by one example I'm going to show you how I edit iPhone photos. All my DSLR shots first go into Photoshop, but anything I post on Instagram is really, I edit again on the phone because photos just look different on the computer than on the phone. And the 3 most important apps I use are Snapseed, VSCO, so VSCO, I don't know, I actually don't know what's the right way, Visual Supply Company, VSCO for filters, and FaceTune for small adjustments. So those are, I think, the 3 most important ones, but again, I'm going to do a video where I'm going to talk specifically about all the apps I use for editing an Instagram photo and walk you through the entire process of every single feature that I like to use. Okay, so now you have your photography in order, you know why you're blogging, you know what camera you have, and you know what platforms you're on. Now, how do you grow? Obviously, it's a very, very important question and probably the most frustrating one, because it's not as easy as it used to be. I'm going to be honest with you, it's just not. There's more people, and people are less susceptible to content on Instagram because there's so much more content and so many more content creators now. It's a little bit difficult. A few of the basics are the following. So if you know what your market is, what your brand is, like say, you know, my blog is called One Dapper Street, so I know like I'm gonna look for dapper people. I'm gonna look for people that like street style. I look for people that like menswear and maybe like lifestyle and whatnot. So what I want to do is go through hashtags like hashtag dapper, hashtag menswear, hashtag I don't know, whatever you think fits, and see what kind of photos come up, and then you want to interact with those people. Because that's your potential follower, right? So if somebody posts a photo of themselves and tags it hashtag dapper, that's potentially a guy who would want to see my content. And most people don't get a lot of likes on Instagram. So if they say on average get 20 likes a photo, and one of those likes is you know, they're probably going to be like, like I don't know this, who is this guy? And go on your Instagram, and if they like what they see, they might follow you. So that's the whole entire plan. This is really time consuming, and I've done this for a very, very long time, but there's also a website called Instagress, so you can go on instagress.com, where a bot does that automatically for you. Now, those things have a little bit of a negative connotation, and it's rightfully so, because some people abuse them. Like those kind of websites can make comments on your behalf on whatever parameters you choose. They can follow and unfollow people and whatnot. So I personally just like the like setting. So basically all it does is it goes through the hashtags I select automatically and gives people a like. The way I see it, there's nothing wrong with that, because people get an extra like and they kind of have a chance to interact with me, and honestly I quite often respond to DMs and everything. So it's not like I'm taking myself away entirely, but then the bot does everything. I'm still like on my own Instagram. And it's really just a positive interaction. It's not like I'm going to follow you and I'm going to unfollow you, or I'm going to leave a comment on a photo that I just don't know whether it's actually a good photo, like, oh, hey, great feed, check out mine. I don't like that. So if you want to do that, you can do that. I do it, and I'm okay with it. In the beginning, growing for me was also a lot about talking to people in person. So I actually had business cards, and I would walk around. I lived in New York, I still do, but it's very easy to find people that might potentially be blog readers and potential people that you might want to work with, brands as well as other influencers. So I would just have my cards on me, and I would talk about my blog nonstop because it was what I was all about, and that was just very important to me. So promoting yourself, not shamelessly, just decently, okay? Have a little bit of common sense and to what extent you're gonna promote yourself. But just kind of trying to go out and meet people and talking about blogging and finding like-minded people. The same thing you do on Instagram, honestly. Instead of going through hashtags, you go through events where a lot of people might be that you might like. So I know it can be a little bit difficult, but just, I don't know, through social media, try and find out where things are going down, go to store events, and just kind of talk to people. Also, as I just said, you might meet other influencers, people that might have a little bit more experience and have done it for a little longer and have more followers than you. Try and work with them. Try and do things together. I still work with all of my friends, and a lot of us are friends because we've worked together. And it's just about, combining your styles and doing something different, doing something creative, and getting out there and just collaborating that people like to see. And it's great cross exposure for both of you, and it's just a really, really fun part of the industry. Menswear blogging is really, really great. I'm friends with literally every other blogger I've ever met. It's not competitive in the sense that you're like, oh my god, I hate that guy because he's got more followers than me or something like that. It's very supportive, and I think I would love if that stayed the same. So if you guys started out the same way, that would be awesome. So that's, I think, what I have to say about growth. It's a little one last note. Don't get discouraged. Just keep at it. It does take a while, and it took me maybe close to a year till I hit 15,000 followers or something, and I was working at it every single day. So don't get discouraged, especially because now Instagram is a little bit more tricky and it's harder to get your content out. But just have fun with it. That's why, going back to the first one, don't just do it. You have to love what you do so you can actually be happy, and then it doesn't feel like work if you do it every day either. Again, I'm going to tell you what I did. When I was starting out, I had pretty much 500 followers over the first 2 or 3 days because I told all of my friends that I was going to launch a blog, and everybody was kind of ready and expecting it. And I had a personal account that I promoted it on. So after 2 or 3 days, I had 500 followers, but that growth, it went up, and then it stopped right there because then all of my friends followed me that wanted to follow me, and the rest was kind of maybe a couple here and there. So I bought 2,000 followers in the very beginning. So I had 2,500 followers. Why did I do that? I felt a little dirty after I did it, first of all, but it was more to gain credibility. So people would, if I went and liked on a hashtag, for example, I liked some random person's photo, they would then come to my page and see, oh, 2,500 people already follow me. This guy must have something interesting to offer. Let me go follow him. Versus 500 people, you'd be like, oh, this is just a regular guy who some of his friends are following. So that was just, for me, important to make a differentiation. Now it's also different. Again, this was 3.5 years ago. There's a lot more people with 2,500 followers, and it's a little bit difficult to make an impact on people. I wouldn't suggest buying followers. I still stand by what I did from a business standpoint or marketing standpoint. Again, I studied marketing. You want to seem somewhat legit, so I bought some in the very, very beginning. But since then, I haven't bought any likes, and it's not why, honestly. I'm not doing this for the followers. I'm not doing this for the likes. I'm doing it to spread the message and to make people want to dress up more. So I don't really care. That's all I have to say on that matter. Okay, so if you find yourself blogging for a couple of weeks, couple of months, and you're like, oh my god, how do people do it? I don't have any clothes anymore. How do you keep the content fresh? How do you keep it exciting? One, you keep it exciting with collaborating with other people. You can do if you have another guy who's kind of your size, maybe go into his closet and make an outfit from his stuff, and he does the same. But legit, so asking people for clothes, your friends that are the same size, could be really interesting because even just one piece can make an entire look very different. 2, go thrift shopping. So again, fortunate enough to live in New York, I have amazing thrift shops there. So I would sell a lot of my clothes, and I'd buy new ones, and I'd sell those, and I'd buy new, used ones. So that was another thing. And lastly, I would shop at various retailers and I would leave the tags on and then shoot it, obviously take very good care of it, shoot it, and bring it back. I was on a student budget, I didn't have the money to keep it, and in the end, the way I see it, they get content, they get exposure, and they obviously, like, if they're gonna take it back, like, don't rip this stuff apart, don't make it dirty, don't do anything. It's basically just like you're trying it on in the changing room, but then you're taking a photo. So all you're doing is you're taking it home, you're wearing your own shoes. Don't ever do this with shoes, they won't take them back. You wear your own shoes, you hop outside really quick, you take a few photos, you come back up, take it off, bring it back. That way you can really keep your content fresh and have fun with new and different clothes without breaking the bank. So from a few more established bloggers, I've gotten the question, more established meaning like 10, 20,000 followers now, or even more. I've gotten the question, how do I get in touch with brands? The most unsatisfying, but probably the most honest question I have for you is be patient. If you do your work, and if you do your best work, and if you do it consistently, and you push it out on all platforms, basically if you follow all the steps that I've told you until this very point, brands will notice you and brands will reach out to you, especially in the menswear space. There's not a lot of bloggers that are going crazy. Like, of course there's more and more, but if you compare it to women's, if you compare it to other industries, there's not that many, and people are desperate for new faces, people meaning brands, are desperate for new faces and new people to work with that have a different creative eye and different style and different direction. So just keep at it and you will meet people. But also through things that I mentioned before, through working with other influencers that maybe work with brands, they check out their page, see you on there because you collaborated, and then they might be interested in working with you. Going to events, you're going to meet PR people, you're going to meet other people or people directly from brands that might want to work with you. And of course, if you tag people on Instagram, like brands that you're wearing, like you're going to shop somewhere and you might return it later, but you tag them and you shout them out, eventually they might see you. If they like what you do and if it's good quality, then they might want to work with you. So again, if you follow the steps until just now, you're doing all the things you can to really put yourself out there, to really put your content in focus and you're laying the groundwork to be working with brands. Just be patient. If there's somebody you really want to work with, you can give it a shot. You can email them directly. I've tried that in the past, unsuccessfully, and ironically with brands that I later on worked with after they wrote to me. So you can try it if you feel like it. Brands are now also a little bit more open to bloggers, so you might have better chances than I did back then. But yeah, I think maybe out of 100 emails you get like 2 or 3 responses, out of which 2 might be a no. So be patient and keep at your work. If you're having fun, it doesn't matter. Okay, last but not least, big question. How do you turn all of this into a profession? I'm a blogger, I'm an influencer, that's my full-time job. Basically, like if I had to describe the industry I'm in, it's fashion marketing, and that's what I went to school for. I just have my own platform now. From the very beginning, for me it was important to like share what brands are doing, and it was all about the product and the clothes. Because I used to grow up and read GQ Style and look at all these amazing spreads, and I just couldn't find what I wanted. Like Xenia, $5,000. Cucinelli, $10,000. Like I couldn't afford the clothes that I saw. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to offer everybody else a solution. So people liked my style and I knew that. So I wanted to let them know where I could get the stuff. That was the foundation for my business. So I knew that I could help promote brands merely by telling people, hey, this is where I got this. If you want to buy it, you can go get that. That was my business model. A lot of people now realize that bloggers make money and they live a good life. We get to travel, we get clothes. It is an amazing life. But you shouldn't be doing it for the life. You shouldn't be doing it for the money. I know there's people that are out there and that are successful doing it. People that are just doing it for the money. I don't think it's gonna make you happy. Money, not to get too philosophical, but I don't think money makes you happy. A certain extent, of course, can make you happier. I'm not the one who's like, oh no, money can't make you happy. To a certain extent, absolutely yes. But I think it's more important that you do what you absolutely love. And then if you make money with that, you'll be a lot happier, even if technically the money is less than what you would be getting if you did something else that you didn't enjoy. It's basically the same as with getting in touch with brands, because those brands are going to be the ones who are paying you. You just have to be patient. You just have to do your best work, and you just have to keep at it, and you will get noticed. Just trust it. I think you will get noticed. for me, it's very important while we're on the topic to point out that yes, brands are paying me to promote them, but it's very important that I can't be bought, and I advise you do the same. A lot of bloggers have a negative stigma because they work with brands that they don't want to work with just for money. I honestly, if I wouldn't buy it myself, I don't take any money for it to promote it. It's not right. The way I see it is not correct. So if you do get an offer, and especially in the beginning, it can be very tempting if somebody's coming to you with money, for you to want to work with them, even though you don't like the product. I advise you not to do it. Just because you won't feel good about yourself, and you don't want to take away from the brand that you just started building. For example, I never worked, in the beginning I used to, but I never worked with alcohol brands anymore, just because I have a shift in my thinking, and I don't want to promote alcoholic beverage to my audience, which is primarily which is a lot of teenagers too. I just don't want to do it. Everybody's gonna drink anyway, and that's fine, but I just don't want to endorse a life where that's a main part, because I personally don't drink much myself. I do enjoy it every now and then, but I don't. I don't want to make this the main part of the thing, but basically, don't just focus on the money. Like any profession, you'll do great also financially if you do a great job. And I think that's the most important thing I got for you in the whole professional sense. And that's it. That was 10 questions regarding blogging, how to get started, and a few tips and hints and tricks. Now, as I said in the beginning of the video, if you have any more questions other than these 10, please leave them below. I might do a follow-up. Please stay tuned for the editing video that's going to come. I'm also going to do a video soon where I just talk about more in depth about my entire story and how I got to study fashion and how I started my blog. With all the little details, I'm going to focus a little bit more on that so you have kind of an insight there. But for today, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please do give me a thumbs up, and I hope to see you guys very, very soon in my next video. Bye.